Joe.
Jeremy.
My friend.
My favorite friend. Fuck both of you.
Why? I don't know what you're talking about. Just because Made of Bread and Jeremy Bearimy don't like you. Why does that reflect poorly on me?
You know what? I'm gone. Oh god, if you didn't have to reset up chat, I would leave. Just no, spew it. Don't mind me, I'm doing
Corey said,
literally
fuck Joe
anything.
in chat.
Do it. You ain't got the balls. You won't fuck me.
I need to scooch that over a little bit. But yeah, we're back with the Stanley shit, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying before, we did all the regular endings last time. So this is all the like new shit. I'll probably try to run through the ones that don't require me to carry the bucket first, and then we'll carry the bucket around to do that shit.
Yeah, bucket. I like the bucket.
Yeah, it's very reassuring.
Didn't like the pit. Not a fan of that.
I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, you got any fucking anecdotes or anything beforehand, or?
Nah, my life sucks.
It's
nothing enjoyable.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, yeah, that's about it.
Well, fuck
That'll do it for me, guys. Alright.
Fuck it. Let's get into it then. Stanley Parable 2.
The best game.
Corey said sick toucan shirt.
Oh, thanks.
But yeah, so yeah, Corey, this is a great stream for you to jump in on, because the last one was all the shit you've already seen, give or take a few things. Achievement unlocked. Welcome back.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I'll let the intro play through
Stanley
once at the
worked
beginning.
for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
The balloons.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And
Same.
Was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change
Stanley Parable 2 bit.
Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one showed up to give him instructions,
I'll fix it on my end, but like,
or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happen. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
I turned it down a little. It's good now.
Frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
The glove doesn't
But as he
fit,
came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So Corey, something you missed. The Stanley Parable 2 bit is them, the guy being like, nah, fuck this remake, we need a sequel. And so you got to pick a bunch of stuff. And he asked what balloons we wanted. If we wanted Get Well Someday or Happy 12th Birthday Stepniece. And Joe, I was letting Joe choose since I've played this game. And he chose Get Well Someday, and the narrator said, you know, when you ask someone's opinion, you realize you knew what you wanted all along.
Stanley decided to go
So
to the
happy
meeting
12th
room.
birthday
Perhaps he had
Stephanie's
simply missed a
balloons
memo.
are all over the office.
Which I do love.
Okay.
No matter how hard Stanley
You ready
looked,
for this?
he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're freaking me out, man.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Are we sick of this gag yet, Joe?
No, I'm not.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh,
Fuck.
now think about it. Would it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected Continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
That's it. That's the whole bit. But now...
What if you pick the other option?
Yeah, we gotta come back.
Yeah.
On that ending, he does just leave you there, and you're just there until you go back and restart.
All of his co-workers were gone.
It's a good bit.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yeah. you too will become quite unbearable.
Yep, there you go. That's the whole bit.
That's it? Are you just stuck here now? Until you restart?
I think I'm gonna wait and see if he tries to do... Gavin said the song slaps. Oh yeah. Listen to that shit on my morning commute. I'm like, it is unbearable. They're right. The narrator knew all along.
I mean, it's no broom closet.
Oh yeah, the broom closet ending was the best.
Yeah.
And we went into the broom closet with the bucket last time, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was like the broom closet wants the bucket, Stanley. Yeah, it just loops forever.
Nah, you gotta stay in that room for 4 hours.
Fuck. Also.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by?
Wouldn't be surprised if there was a 4 hours in the White Room ending.
But the one thing
there's already a 4 hours pressing the button on the baby game ending.
The answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Yep, that's the refuse to do shit ending.
Mood.
Can't imagine. Yeah, we're not doing that ending. The one that takes 4 hours. If someone gifts 10,000 bits right now, or if someone tips 10,000 bits right now, I'll do the baby ending.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he
won't be here for
memo.
it.
There's the bucket. We'll be back for the bucket.
Bucket! Give me the bucket, boy.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'll get back to you when I have a 10J. Oh, have we come in this room since the figurine thing?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, all the shit in here is about the figurines now. Agenda. How can you tell you spotted one? What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them? Follow clues provided by employee 416. We can do it. Red room?
What red room is there?
Thank you. Good luck. So, yeah, there's all this shit posted. Different picture. Also, this picture in the top right is just the picture somebody drew on this board over here.
Laziness.
Weird spinning figurines. What do they want? Our data? Stock options? Money? Should we make them employees? Maybe? Interns? Yes. Why? What? I don't know. Oh, why do they look like 427? Why floating? Our quarterly success? Magic? Magnets? Training exercise by management? Dreams.
I like on the left, it just says employee 421 building a bridge.
Yeah, saw one in cargo room. Employee 421 building a bridge. Do we need contracts for them? NDA? Political liability? Or potential liability? Can we sell them? Obviously. More money if sold together. How many are there? 15? 7? 5? 6? Trust the completionist instinct. Warehouse area plan. Produce 1 plank to allow ease of access past fence. Construct bridge to allow connection of shiny float. Retrieve Chris's remains from warehouse floor. Construct new structurally sound bridge. We need more planks. And then this is where they are.
Gotcha. So
there's one in the cargo room, and there's one by the blue and red door.
Okay. So we need 2 more. No.
No, not this time.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
I'd sit here
boss's
for
office.
4 hours just to see it. Yeah, you can see it on youtube.com.
Look for a 4-hour video of it.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety
fun if you suffer
isn't
for
healthy.
it. That's fair.
So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming
If
new
you
age
watch
music.
the full 4-hour video of someone doing it, you suffered.
Yeah. Oh, that person suffered. There was suffering.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Anonymous suffering means nothing. That's fair. Oh, I forgot there's like still 2 endings in this direction we haven't done.
What's the other one?
There's another musical number for it.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
I feel like I'm not familiar with
this question would not go unanswered for long.
How can we be favored friends?
We're not, it's just the title.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the Mind Control Facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours, so here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. You jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. Used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. job, you did it. Good 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 job,
Let's go content. I love content, baby.
Good job, you did it. Good job, you did it.
I just need this song to play like every day.
Good job, you did it.
Right.
Like specifically that part. Someone to say good job.
I'll make it an audio people can play. Good job.
Oh,
you
that'd be
did
good.
it. Good job. You did it.
That's a good sound.
What the fuck?
Where are you?
I'm not sure.
Fuck it.
Oh, I think it just changed the opening area.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright, we just have to
Go back and
turn the mind control machine on.
Gotcha. So
I mean, this is basically
Coming
just
to a
content the
staircase,
game.
Stanley walked
Yeah.
upstairs to his boss's office.
I told you about the that anime Kotaro Lives Alone, about the 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I finished
Okay,
it.
I think we all know the drill by
Okay.
now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you.
It's sad. It's
Is
really
it one of those animes that like plays cool and then gets sad out of nowhere?
well. It's just like more intriguing because like you want to know why he's living by himself, and like the first like 3 episodes don't really explain a lot, and it has like little like hints of sadness, like oh poor little guy,
Yeah.
and then
Stanley
it
walked straight
just
ahead
really
through the large
like
door that read Mind
quadruple
Control
down on
Facility.
it. Like fuck doubling down. It's a double down.
Good job. You did it. Good job. You did it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
So
What
he's trying to
horrible
like
secret did this
learn
place
how to
hold?
catch a ball,
Stanley thought to
right?
himself. Did he have
and
the
when the
strength
guys like
to
teach
find
like
out?
trying to teach him, and like Kotaro is like super sad because he can't catch a ball, and he feels like he's like
Now the monitors jump to life. Their true nature
betraying
revealed.
his friends.
Each bore the
by
number
not being
of an
able to play
employee
with
in
them.
the building.
Probably.
Stanley's co-workers.
Which is just
The
like, oh,
lives
so
of
sweet
so
and
many
innocent.
individuals reduced to
And the
images
guy's
on a
like,
screen.
oh, it's like having.
And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in
Yes,
this
I
place
remember when you
where
ate 2
freedom
double
meant
downs
nothing.
and got incredibly sick.
What's a double down?
The KFC double down.
This mind control facility, it was too
Was that-
horrible to
Was that the
believe.
chicken
Two pieces-
sandwich that was
Yeah.
2 pieces of
Had
chicken
Stanley
instead of
really been
bread?
under someone's control
Yeah, and it was
all
filled with
this
cheese
time?
and bacon.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring
that sounds
job?
deadly.
That his emotions
he
had
ate 2
been
of those.
manipulated to accept it blindly?
But so like, this guy's like training him, like teaching him how to catch a ball.
He refused to
And-
believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own
He's like,
life
oh,
in
like
someone
catching a
else's
ball
control.
is like
Never.
a conversation.
It was
it's all about eye
unthinkable,
contact,
wasn't
right?
it? Was it
Yeah.
even possible?
And
Had he
the kid's
truly
like,
spent his
I'm
entire
gonna have to
life
do it.
utterly blind
And
to the world?
he's like beating himself up because he can't catch it, and the guy's like, "Oh, it's okay, bud. Like, it's not that big of a deal."
Here
He's
was the
like,
proof.
"No,
The heart of the operation.
it's like it's a big deal
Controls labeled with
because
emotions.
if I can't
happy
catch a ball,
or sad
it's like I'm
or
ignoring my
content.
friends."
Walking,
and you said,
eating, working,
like
all of it
catching a ball
monitored
is like
and commanded
conversation.
from this very place.
What's more
And as
sad
the cold
than
reality
throwing
of
a
his
ball to
past
somebody
began
who
to
has
sink
no
in,
intention on catching
Stanley
it?
decided
And it just cuts to his mom, like, not paying attention to him. Just like as he's, like, trying to talk. And she's just like, no. And he's like, I have to catch it. And, like, he keeps his mom, like, wore gloves whenever she touched him.
Mm-hmm.
Because she didn't like touching him at all. And he keeps these
Hey,
gloves.
Corey. He said you can catch my balls.
Right.
that this machinery would never again exert
So
its
he keeps
terrible
his
power
mom's
over
gloves
another
around,
human life.
And
Yeah.
whenever when they
For
go like,
he
hey, you need to throw
would
these away, it's
dismantle
like
the
bad
controls
memories.
once
He refuses
and
to.
for all.
And it's like him by himself, and he's like, I won't throw away my mom's gloves. That way when she comes back to me, she'll be able to hug me. And I'm like, boy, you're fool! Stop being sad!
Well,
Alright.
you done depressing the chat so we can play this fun comedy game?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are safe to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
Where's button 1?
What all this means. I barely know where to start.
2.
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right,
3.
I'm in a good mood. You're going to die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
Where's the button down now?
I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich.
Where's button 4?
I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
4.
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees.
I think the last one's 5. I don't know if this does anything. I don't think you can actually get out of this explosion.
Or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Sold? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Fuck.
So don't hit on. And don't go downstairs.
Yep.
Got it.
It's 2 endings we don't go to.
We're gonna stick at the broom closet.
Hey, Dino's here. What's up?
Hey!
Alright, one more thing and then we can start doing bucket shit.
Bucket shit!
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
How you feeling, Dino?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and
finishing up the Stanley Parable.
We'll be different people by then.
Done the ending
different in the sense that we used to have none
the bunker
of them.
lift several
and now
times.
We have them all.
No, I saw something about that, but I couldn't get it to
when
work.
You had no Figler and Marines.
The
None
little
of us
elevator across from the boss's office. Oh wait, there is actually one other thing after this one I'm about to do that we have to do before bucket shit.
Bucket shit.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all
the
just in
original had
Stanley's
like 19
head.
or something.
I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each
A
and
lot of them
every
are
time
bucket
you watch a
twists,
movie
so
where
that's
it
another
turns out
19,
all
so
to be in the main
like
character's
there's like
imagination,
19
you must
more,
absolutely
which
bolt
each are a
off the
bucket
couch in pure
variation,
shock at the phenomenal
like 4 or
intricate
5
storytelling. It must be so simple
brand new
to
things.
be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must
will
find
see
the
what a
world
bucket
than
one
the rest
is.
of us do.
If you take the bucket with you, it changes endings
Now
that
it becomes sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your
it changes
fault.
the endings when you get there. So you and Liam bought this and have been playing it. Nice. I guess our playthrough's not good enough for you.
Just make sure you tell the developers that you bought it because of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get sponsored.
A soft wind blew outside and
Like
perhaps
Stanley
rain
Parable
started.
Despite
too.
anything
It
at this
stopped
point.
shortly
Yeah,
after.
please.
Stanley
What
hoped
was the
that he
other?
would one
Oh,
day
right.
see
I know what I was
whether
about to do.
I want people to
When
give
Stanley
me money,
came to a set of 2 open
rich
doors,
people.
he entered the door on his left.
I will shill.
It's because of you guys we got it. This game, yeah, this game is great. This game is art.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door.
Oh.
Yeah. I got that door to close with me on this side of it. What does it mean, Joe?
Oh, you're gonna go downstairs, aren't you?
No.
Oh.
Get out of my way, board. It's quiet now.
No narrator.
Also, this building layout makes no sense because look at this. There's a window here and a window here, which would make this
doors.
just a hallway. But then like,
Yeah.
so these are just light boxes.
Well, I imagine you're underground, yeah?
Possibly.
Because that's like the thing, they do. Oh.
New door. Yeah, that was the first one we did. We did the outside the map
Oh no.
thing. It was the first one we did when we booted it up today.
Oh, you're now leaving.
Escape pod bay. I think it was on 760.
You gotta walk up all these stairs.
Yeah.
Just to be fucked with.
Yep, just for the bit.
Yeah.
I think we're on 7:58 now, so I still have to do it 2 more times. Now, like, nah, you wanted to fuck with stuff. Here you go. Now walk in silence to your ending.
Game developer was like, "You're not better than me." Good job, you did it.
Ah, there it is.
The one true ending. Broom closet. Broom closet.
No, that's it. I forgot there wasn't any dialogue for that one.
Was that the ending?
Yep. You just get in the escape pod and leave.
Oh, that's fair. I'm gonna use the bathroom real fast.
Quite a pleasant amount of bumpscosity we've got today, wouldn't you say?
There's light boxes. My old work office had a huge concrete box with no windows. And to try to raise positivity, the actual thing that was suggested by the boss was putting a TV there that played a view from the window. Instead of just like moving us to an office. Amazing.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Well, if Joe's going to the bathroom, he's the one who hasn't seen this, so we gotta wait for his dumbass. Boo Joe, right? What an asshole. What a real piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Joe. Thanks for making us all wait. But yeah, so now that we're doing been up to much recently? Not particularly. Catching up on shows. Working on stream stuff. Ooh. Redoing some of our different things, like working on a new version of the just chatting artwork since my drawings have gotten better. Working on new alert images and stuff, different things, changing up sounds. We got some stuff coming. The next season of The Boys is coming out soon. Nice.
What'd I do?
You left, making everybody wait because you're the one who hasn't seen the game. Pee before stream, asshole.
I did.
But yeah, new things are coming. I'm gonna work on the beanie design soon, so we'll have beanies.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Wait.
What? Huh.
I should have saved this one.
Why?
Because the bit in it is more effective if you've done some other shit first.
Got you.
So, run that back one more time.
Oh, the anticipation for that bit, though.
Yeah, always leave them wanting more.
Look, warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket
it
in his
randomly
arms
changes
again,
the opening hallway sometimes.
Oh,
Stanley
new content.
Clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better
also,
than
I'll
the
listen to
meeting
this
room?
some more.
Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley
we
not
did the
question
unplug the
why
phone
or
ending
how
with the
this
bucket,
was
right?
speaking
Yeah,
to
because
him.
Dunny with the funny.
It should have alarmed him,
Yeah,
of course,
Dunny
because
with the
buckets
fun.
can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
This is where the blue and red door are.
Oh, we're getting the last collectible
No,
too.
stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please,
video.
step in here for a moment.
I feel like there's going to be a video explaining to you the bucket.
Oh, it's better than that.
A musical number.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Yeah, that's a fucking bucket.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
That's a fucking bucket.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
All right, I'll let you pick the answers, Joe.
Yo.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
That's a bucket.
Correct.
Hey.
This is a bucket.
Yeah.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Is it a bucket, Joe?
Yeah, no, it's not, but it is.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor.
Okay.
It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on.
I thought he was going to be like some stupid reason why it's a bucket.
Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect.
Son of a bitch.
This is a bucket.
Get fucked.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No. It's the hologram.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
No.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true.
Everything's a
Is
bucket.
that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Everything's a bucket, my man.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
You're a bucket.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay, here we go.
Click the red X.
What happened?
Oh, yeah.
Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea.
Gavin says, I am a bucket.
Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right,
Yo.
Here we go.
Everything's a bucket, you know?
Everything.
Oh, I've been saying it for years. No one listened to me.
No one believed me.
When we first met Jeremy, he said,
right.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. And I said, everything's a bucket.
Okay.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
I'll leave it up to y'all. What are y'all feeling? More bucket endings or get the last figurine? What are we feeling here?
Well, let chat decide.
Y'all move, chat.
Are you a bucket?
We can still do them in any order, but we only need one figurine, and I know where to get it.
Bucket.
Bookjet.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone.
All right, where are we going, Joe?
Bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
All is bucket. Bucket is all.
We don't dissolve you, bucket.
We did the broom closet one already.
Yeah.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Let's go downstairs.
To the nightmare world.
Yeah, but now we have bucket.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Bucket? Is that you?
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next.
No.
None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
Bucket!
He had to find the bucket.
I miss you,
he had
bucket.
to return to his old friend.
Give me
It
my
was
bucket.
the only way to truly restore his
That's
sanity.
the beanie.
And then suddenly,
The bucket.
froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
No.
That's the buckets we made
It
along
can't
the
be
way.
true.
Stanley doubled
Bucket.
over in agony and blacked out.
Bucket.
Bucket!
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
You fucked up,
Perhaps
Joe.
he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
My life kicks ass. Backflip all the way to work.
Almost backflipping. You know, sometimes you gotta bust them out.
Yeah. Bang out a couple backflips, you know?
Yeah.
That ending is much less
Even now,
existentially
Stanley's office
dreadful
was a distant memory.
than the bucket.
What did it look like?
The
There
bucket
was a
helps,
computer,
man.
the good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling
Hold
adventure
on a second.
together.
What do you mean,
Stanley
hold on a
clutched the
second?
I got a
bucket
phone
tightly
call.
to his chest and
Alright,
entered the door
well-
on his left.
I'm not waiting for you. We'll let chat decide.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright, so the ones we have to do in this direction are
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once
turning the
again
machine
stunned
off with
to
the bucket
discover not an indication of any human life.
and the escape ending.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Damn it.
Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding
Escape
him?
is pretty good.
Yes.
Have you done
This is
escape with
certainly
the
most
bucket,
logical
Dino?
explanation.
What's my dog barking at? I hear my dog doing a bork. Oh, it's getting picked up on the mic faintly. She out there yelling. What's this pup yelling at? Why are you tormented, Muffin?
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him,
Spent like a
reassuring that in this
5
darkest
hours
moment of
playing the other day.
uncertainty, he
Yeah,
would
if you
be
just
all right.
run through it, you
The
can get through a
bucket
lot
is
of
here
it
for you,
pretty
Stanley.
quickly.
Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Although this passageway had the word escape
there's a couple
written on it,
endings with the bucket
truth
that are, like,
was
entirely
that at the end
different.
of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would
And
both
some of them
meet a
are
violent
just
death.
twists on the endings that already exist, where he just
What I missed?
The
mentions the
door
bucket.
behind them was not shut.
We went to the escape
Stanley
route.
and the bucket still had every
Okay.
opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
You gotta save the bucket, man. The bucket's gotta get out.
No, do you not remember we die if we go this way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's like the squish.
Hell yeah. Squunch.
You just gotta throw the bucket.
As the machine whirred into
can't.
motion and
It's
Stanley
stuck
and the
to me.
bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how
I think
meaningless
one of
the
the only
bucket's
ones I've
warmth
done
and
without the
comfort
bucket
had
is the
turned
lift
out to
one.
be.
Done more
To be
with
sure,
the bucket than
it puts the
without.
mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, bucket.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Nice.
It's the museum, remember?
It was a
Oh,
shame,
yeah.
the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest.
Why is Stanley
It was a
Parable 2 all
glorious
about
bucket to
buckets?
behold.
The bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You're standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within a cavernous void. But through the use of this exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched and substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here out with you to the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in the exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of the exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in the ignorance and darkness?
Look, no one's more about buckets than me.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Dino said, why aren't you all about buckets?
I'm about buckets. I'm the most bucket guy you've ever met.
Art. 25 buckets. Photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from the exposure to many buckets at once.
That's more than 25.
Shh.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Bucket with two handles. The bucket is depicted as having two handles. Such a design has never been crafted in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. It would also be less convenient.
Ah, man, you and a Frank could carry bucket.
The Inferno bucket. Replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains, no one can control a bucket. Cave drawings. While we know the bucket predates the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasure.
Good bucket.
No man can own a bucket,
to
and certainly
Jurassic
not a bucket as
Bucket.
dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should
The hanging
kneel
bucket.
before the bucket.
This place symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitably, is for our own good.
You got the bucket.
Hey, Gavin
But
called
there is
Pants here.
something we can do.
Yeah,
Something
good
we
job.
can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Okay. Well, fuck. You know?
Well, fuck.
Well, fuck. That's what's going on in the beanie.
Just, well, fuck.
Well, fuck.
Duck it, bucket, and fuck it.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
I'll do
to
the
his
turn the
chest
machine off
and
because
entered the door
that
of
one
his lab.
takes a while to walk to.
Okay.
The other ones don't take quite as long. I wonder if there's a difference in the jumping to your death
Coming
off of
to a
the
staircase,
in the
Stanley
one
and the
room
bucket walked
while holding the
upstairs
bucket.
to the boss's office.
Oh, you talking about like the lift room?
Yeah, where
The
you can
cargo.
jump off.
Yeah.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Thank you, Bucket.
The bucket guides us.
It's all about the bucket, baby.
If you ain't bucket, then you
You
ain't.
can't fuck it.
You can't hit if you ain't got
Stanley
no
and the bucket
bucket.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Do you think it's if you get to the bottom of the thing? Do you think it's different?
The lights
With the
rose
bucket?
on an enormous room packed with
That's a good
television
question.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the
Yeah,
bucket both
Bucket.
wondered to themselves. But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what
Naturally.
to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold
Oh, nice.
perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all. He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the
Oh,
bucket.
Stanley.
Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Oh, it's so long. Oh, it's over.
We did it. We got there.
Because you're our favorite friends.
We overused this joke.
It's the only joke we have.
The meeting
It's the
room.
one
Yes,
true
that's where
bit.
everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed
now
bucket.
we'll go turn the
a
thing
bucket of
off.
culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
And then, actually, I think we do this. We have to take the bucket out the window.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
Answer the
walked
phone.
upstairs to the boss's office.
And then there's another thing. And then collect all the figurines.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Oh yeah,
Was
and then
the
there's also
bucket
the
guiding
epilogue.
him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh, and we have to do the going down the maintenance thing with the bucket.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the maintenance thing. It's like 5 or 6 more.
Yeah, we got another. We have the next hour's worth of content.
Perfect.
So it might be a shorter stream, but
Cool by me. I'm exhausted.
same. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
I walked.
Stanley and the bucket walked
14,
straight ahead
15
through
hours.
the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I got home at like 12:40. Went to
The
sleep.
lights
and
rose on an
had Wolf
enormous
call
room
me,
packed with television screens.
wake me up multiple
What
times.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Got a crouch walk everywhere.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it
monitored
very
by
nearly
guinea
burst into
pigs?
tears as Stanley cradled it gently,
Yeah,
reassuring it
the bucket's
that
natural
everything
enemy.
would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What
Bucket,
kinds
no.
of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These
failed.
questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
You gotta fill a bucket.
No! He screamed into the
fill
bucket.
that bucket,
He
baby.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He
wanna
squeezed
cancel
the
us.
bucket tighter. His one friend in
gonna
the entire world.
delete the channel
At this
real
point,
fast.
he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Joe, no one could hear you over the sound of how much they don't care about what you're saying.
But here was the proof.
Same.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and
Scream
commanded
into the
from this
bucket.
very place. And as the cold reality of his
That's
past
filling it up
began
with
to
your
sink
voice.
in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
It's never over.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves
Eddie's
from the
here,
tyrannical
and they said
grip of the
tomato,
evil
tomato.
mind control machine. Freedom was now
tomato.
mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this
I
massive
like
door.
how neither one of us said
The
it
bucket
right.
wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any
both
movie,
said it right,
but
Jeremy.
then stop it halfway through
What?
and begin watching
no
it in
wrong way to
reverse
say
from the end.
Potato.
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms.
You son of a bitch.
Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Was that it?
Yeah. The building won't let you leave with the bucket.
That's fair, though. It's a good bucket.
Yeah, real reliable, calming.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
I
be?
was going to say building.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this no? Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
All right, so...
No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room.
Go up there and answer the phone.
Go somewhere else. The cargo lift,
we can go back into the vent.
There.
Which
go
one?
to the cargo lift.
Well, do you want to try falling off, too?
Oh, yeah.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Okay.
Now on the walk back up to it, do we want to go back down into the vent or answer the phone with the bucket?
Answer the phone.
All right.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
That's all.
It's a good phone.
It's a good bit. This is a recording to tell you about the dangers of recording.
To be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Bucket's wrong.
Stupid bucket,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah. Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't.
Good job.
But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Bucket's trying to get me to a secondary location.
I'm on it, you bucket.
Now pick up the phone,
said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press A to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press up to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
I mean, have you seen the bucket, though?
To go back to work, right? Look at that hole.
Right?
I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time, it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press down to ignore anyone in your life except for me.
It's sad.
Yeah, is the bucket
I suppose
toxic?
he doesn't need me anymore.
Yeah,
From
he's
now
gaslighting
on, he's
you.
just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket.
Close the
this
door.
sort of shiny
privacy.
bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley?
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press up to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in
Hacking.
which it's so much more than just
you
a
hacker,
regular
man?
bucket? Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. Oh no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do
Yeah,
anything
we
it
finna fuck this
asks.
bucket.
What's wrong with me? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Ooh, going
if
up
I
to,
had the
man.
bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Let me on the
Stanley,
bed.
give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
No.
I need it. Give
No.
it to me now. Give it or I'll...
It's my bucket. Go back to work, Stanley. So yeah, the bucket's controlling,
Yeah, but what do you expect from a bucket?
right?
It's all like that.
All of his
Never,
co-workers were
never met a
gone.
bucket I
What
liked.
could it mean?
That's what I always say.
Stanley
And he's
decided to
saying
go to the
now.
meeting room. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley
Oh,
is a
what?
very lucky fellow. Very
Sorry,
lucky.
Joe. We're almost
Stanley
there.
clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone? Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
Oh
The
shit!
bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more, There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like...
Stanley?
My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless.
Like a whole
You've
JRPG
demonstrated
that
such
happened
bravery here today. Come, let's
cutscene.
restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Wild, right?
I just want more bucket action, you know?
Oh yeah, we're not done with the
The
bucket.
meeting room. Yes,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room,
I'm looking
and
for
from then
something.
on, he would never be alone ever again.
Not you. There should be a computer somewhere that says awaiting input. There you go.
You got it.
You hit that, and then the next time it restarts, it'll be a different computer.
And
if you hit all 5 or 4 of them, I think,
and then proceeded
it's an ending.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt
Now
the
we gotta
bucket
go back to
calling
that vent.
him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
And then we'll do the
And here
maintenance
it
tunnel.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
No. You can't tell me what to do anymore, Bucket. I've killed you once already.
You're in charge of the bucket now. Tell me, you become the master.
You are the hole, I'm the filling.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up.
Right?
No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
Sounds dope. Give me the bucket.
Emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
This is like being John Malkovich, but bucket.
is my golden
bucket,
ticket.
bucket.
But I have to be careful.
Malkovich?
Because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
It's not about Shamada.
That's the name of the wizard that cursed the bucket.
The evil wizard Shamada. Rumchada.
Rumchada. That's what I was gonna say. The evil wizard Rumchada.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the
What was I
door
about to
on his
do?
left.
We did the right.
Oh, I gotta do the maintenance.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
We can't
took
trust the
door on his
bucket
left
anymore,
to
Jeremy.
go back, and
It's
so
evil.
the two of them detoured through the maintenance
killed it
section
once,
and
Joe.
walked
We can
straight
kill it
ahead to
again.
the opposite door.
We must kill Bucket.
You'll see why this ending's better if you do a bunch of stuff with the bucket first.
Gotcha.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
My beautiful wife.
I gotta forget you. Broom Closet. Oh, baby kiss.
Yeah, little baby kiss. Kiss on the cheek.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine
Can't
when
take
you're
my
ready.
bucket.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't
This is
know
what it
what
does
the
when you try
bucket
to put the
destroyer
bucket
will
in.
do if it can't destroy your bucket.
And I
Destroying
can't tell if
buckets
it's Stanley
is
like
all it
holding it
knows.
close to his chest,
That
like, no,
is
it's
its
mine, or if it's the
singular
bucket looking
personality
at you.
trait.
Like,
Sure,
Please.
I can hear you
Don't
say,
do it.
how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh. You destroy the bucket. How could you? You fucking hate that.
Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had
Halo
so much
music.
potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Yo,
For the moment in
that makes this
time
game
that you
even
were
more
here,
lit. Halo music.
you were
Halo music makes everything lit. The fucking Halo 2 when they added the fucking solo, the fucking drums. Fucking love Halo. Except for the multiplayer, it's trash.
Trash. Worst game ever.
Only because I'm so good at it.
Yeah.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Alright, we don't need the bucket this time.
No bucket. Are we getting the last collectible?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. I had to push the other button first and then just restart. The awaiting input button.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You don't have to actually complete an ending for that to count.
Oh, gotcha.
So you can just hit it and move on.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard
One more, Joe. Should we take the bucket with us?
Yeah. I trust the bucket this time.
Oh, you know what? That phone call is the same as the one before. I was gonna say there's probably also a take the bucket into your office
Stanley's
ending.
bucket, the only
Yeah.
co-worker he would ever truly need.
Welcome Stanley to heaven.
It's Tristal. You're playing Tristal.
That's it. That's what this whole ending is.
Oh,
This is Stanley's heaven. That's it. You just hit buttons.
it's a good ending. Reminds me of that movie we watched.
Oh God, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Where he has to push the angel penises to make things happen.
That one.
What was the next
Stanley
thing?
decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He
Right.
never functioned well by himself. Is
Take the
Stanley
bucket into the
without
office.
bucket really Stanley
Wait.
at all? No.
Oh,
No, surely
Can't go
not.
back there. Oh, never mind then.
We need no buckets.
I ain't afraid of no bucket. Alright, get the last collectible.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, another new hallway. More new hallway.
Oh, perfect.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
Stanley, sprint that
perfectly
shit
well.
out. Gotta run,
Perhaps
gotta
he
go.
wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
It's one thing I wish they would have added to this game. That time
Yeah,
the employee,
Back to business.
that time
Stanley
the employee
took the
lounge, he was
first
like, it
open
was
door on
okay.
his left.
Yeah.
It's an alright room.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
No.
And there it is. The last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines. Now listen carefully, this is important.
We don't need to run through an ending again.
Yeah.
Just go back. And it should load in the next thing. Sorry, Joe, we're almost there.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay awake.
Stanley, I'm sorry,
fuck.
but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Alright. Now wait.
Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Beautiful out.
Not a single tornado.
This room's the same, except the collector's edition is gone, and I don't know why.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Son of a bitch.
What?
7 out of 6.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
It was the boss's bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your 3rd time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in his pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Wild.
This was the 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Amazing.
Mini stand number 5.
That's funny because when me and Brandy in the house played through this,
Yeah.
This one that we found was in a different place. Kevin said that transition shot though. That one was in a different place, so the video was about something else.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Oh yeah, you got to pokey shop the ball, Gavin. You got to buy more Pokeballs.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
We're done.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards.
Got 'em.
We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
You gotta collect the figurines again.
Perhaps.
Okay, yes. The room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Who's gonna watch it again, man?
Yes, I love that video.
Fuck yeah. Good bit.
The best bit.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
It's a good room.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any
16
kind
out
of
of 6.
reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
The one under the stairs. God, remember that one?
Oh,
This
God, I
was
gotta
our
forget that
second
one.
Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, it's the jump circle.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
I was like replaying the
And
game
before
now.
everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Hell yeah. Hey, narrator.
Oh yeah, Bucket.
I just wanted to say, hell yeah.
I just want to say, Bucket. Call me Johnny Buckets.
Kevin said that was trippy.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, trying to think, are there any endings we missed?
You're the expert.
I guess it's just the epilogue. So, something that everybody hasn't been seeing was that every time you boot up the game, it asks you to set the time, and there was like a dialogue where someone was like, oh yeah, I'm learning a lot about you, but like there was no sound, so I had to get past that to play the sound. There's really nothing that got missed, but
It's time for Wheel Fortune, baby.
if I restart the game one more time, it should be ready for the epilogue.
So about the epilogue.
Developed by Crows.
Ah, crows!
Please enter the current time. It's 4:20 a.m.
Yep.
Ah, 4:20 a.m. Your favorite time of day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 4:20 a.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is the time? That's like damn near the exact opposite.
Yeah, right.
You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready the next time you boot up the game.
Cool.
Kevin said, never thought the narrator would get a backstory. Everybody gets a backstory, baby.
You're our favorite friends. Everyone gets a backstory.
You get a backstory. You get a bucket, broom closet, pencil sharpener. Everybody gets a backstory.
Fuck yeah. Broom closet. I want to be the broom closet.
Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Oh my god, this is my chance to have some brightness. Please adjust the slider until the dog and cat are friends.
Yeah.
Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9.
Pass.
I just want to see what all there is. Bag CP in the broom closet. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider.
Nice.
Which of the two made up words below is the most appealing to you? Occuboinkle or Scrumtush?
Occuboinkle.
Yeah, I love Occuboinkle.
Yeah.
But you know what? Scrumtush isn't awful, so I'll give one click in that direction.
Yeah, there you go.
Please don't adjust the slider. Do you know what time it is right now? Yes.
4:20.
Is it the time? Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Yes. What time is it anyway?
What is time anyway?
Oh, what is time anyway? Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? Yes. Help.
No.
No. Will you come back and visit me? Yes.
Can all Detroit become human in here?
So now... Oh, do I have to boot up the game one more time? To get the epilogue? Come on, game. Give me that sweet, sweet closure.
Give me that bucket.
Give me that bucket, baby. So many crows.
No.
Exactly one Davy.
Davy, why? Why are there so many crows?
What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all the game settings to your exact specification, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. You've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games weren't meant to be played alone. Or weren't meant to be played. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There's still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it might take a little time before it's ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. Talk soon.
Okay.
Do I have to restart it again, or yeah, there it is. Epilogue.
Hey.
Epilogue.
Epilogue.
Many, many years later.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what's going on, baby?
Just in a desert now. No, fuck it. What the fuck is this?
You know what it is, baby.
Oh, sandstorm.
A little loud.
A little bit.
Sorry to interrupt the sweeping landscape. The memory zone. We're back, Joe.
We did it. Yeah, there's not a bucket in here. Turn this game on.
Review Cookie Nine's blog. This is a guy who wanted the skip button.
Oh, okay.
Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is dull, uninspired, and often insulting to its fan base. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead, we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even the diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting, a welcome reprieve from something. Oh, there's a newspaper. Cat dog born. Scientists confirm hybrid species. The mammal manual. Wait, yeah, the mammal times.
Cat dog.
Cat dog. Stanley Parable developers. No more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched a massive success in 2013, its creator made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But a disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 was prompted the developer to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in a press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been further from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Huh? Oh yeah, Jim Buttons. Oh, there's more.
Jim.
Oh, that's back where that review is.
Jim. Stanley. Jim. Stanley. Jim.
What the fuck? Oh, right, I gotta follow the wire. Figurines, Joe. More Stanlerines. Little figlies. Yeah. Got all of them. 26 out of 6, baby. Joe?
Yeah.
You look like you passed out.
Oh, I'm good.
Hello again.
Hello.
It's nice to see you. It's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? Gotta head off to leave, avoid spoilers. Catch you tomorrow. Please let Joe sleep. I will. This is the last thing we're doing. Did you read what the developer... Oh, right. What nonsense. Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games till the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard, in fact. Let me show you. Together we're going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also really need a really dumb subtitle for the game. Something loud and gaudy. Go ahead. Try combining some random words together to make a new title for the game. Ooh. Forbidden Cowboy.
Yeah, Forbidden Cowboy's good.
Journey to Gun. Race to the Gun.
Yeah, I was thinking Race to the Gun, but Forbidden Cowboy grabbed my attention.
Yeah, Forbidden Cowboy. Stanley Parable 3. Forbidden Cowboy. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way the Stanley Parable will never end, and nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say as well. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Good, then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you that broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. All right, there. The achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time. Please adjust the slider till the computer is barely visible. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable.
3. The Forbidden Cowboy.
So, We're not doing any more endings, but just to show you that it works. That it literally does that every time.
And then you gotta pick a new subtitle.
Yeah, and it changes the menu. I don't know how many pre-programmed menus there are in this game, but
That's dope.
On my own playthrough, it's on like the Stanley Parable 7, and there hasn't been a repeat.
That's fucking dope.
Developed by Crows.
Ah!
One Davy.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Stanley Parable 4. Dreams of Stapler. Passion of the Octopus. God, that crucifixion.
Ah, it hurts.
The Square. Half employee, half apple. Nah, Passion of the Octopus, baby.
Yeah, that's the one. What type of psycho shit is this?
Anyway, I'll let Joe get some sleep.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. We don't have any more things to do in the game anyway.
I woke 10 p.m. last night to like noon today.
Whew.
And then like I got home to try to sleep before stream, and Wolf kept calling me.
Right. But yeah, that's it for today. Tomorrow, more Sherlock.
Fuck.
And then, I mean, unless you want me to start Kingdom Hearts a day early.
No, I can play Sherlock.
Yeah, we'll see how your tone changes tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Well, the plan is Sherlock tomorrow, Chain of Memories Wednesday, and then Sherlock Thursday.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Go get some sleep. Stay friendly.